Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something that's so important when it comes to love, heartache, and growth after a breakup. Now, let me be clear, breakups, they're tough. But when we go through them, there's a way to handle them that will make the other person feel that breakup 10 times harder than they ever thought they would. When we go through a breakup, whether it's our first or not, we all know it can feel like the world is crashing down. The emotions are real, the pain is raw, and there's this intense feeling of loss that can overwhelm us. But here's the thing. Amidst all that pain, there's something incredibly powerful that you can hold on to, and that's the power of self-love. Self-love isn't just a buzzword or something people say to make you feel better when you're hurting. It's a real, tangible force that can change the trajectory of your life, especially after a breakup. What makes it so powerful is that it starts within you. It's the belief that you are worthy, valuable, and deserving of love and respect, regardless of your relationship status or past experiences. In the wake of a breakup, we often find ourselves questioning our worth. We wonder, was I good enough? Why wasn't I enough for them? What did I do wrong? These questions swirl around in our minds, and they can start to chip away at our confidence. But the truth is, the end of a relationship doesn't define you. It's not a reflection of your worth. What you have to understand is that relationships don't always work out for countless reasons, many of which have nothing to do with who you are as a person. When you understand the power of self-love, you begin to realize that no matter what happens, you are still whole. You don't need anyone to complete you or to make you feel validated. The love that you give to yourself is the foundation for all other kinds of love. And if you don't nurture it, it's hard for anyone else to truly love you in a meaningful way. A breakup is often a time when we're faced with a mirror. We look at ourselves, and for the first time, we realize just how much we have been relying on someone else for validation. The relationship might have been where we derived our sense of worth and identity, but when that's gone, we are left with a choice. We can either crumble under the weight of the loss, or we can build ourselves back up with the strength of self-love. Self-love means acknowledging your worth even when someone else doesn't see it. It's about not letting the end of a relationship define your value. It's about choosing to respect yourself enough to walk away from a situation that no longer serves you, even if it's painful. Because what you need to understand is that you are not your relationship. You are not your past. You are an individual, whole and complete, and you have the ability to thrive on your own. When you embrace self-love after a breakup, it's not about moving on immediately or pretending like nothing happened. It's about healing at your own pace, but doing so from a place of understanding your worth. You don't need to chase after someone who doesn't appreciate you. You don't need to beg for someone's love or attention. What you need to do is take the time to reconnect with yourself. When you put yourself first, you send a clear message to the universe and to yourself that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. Another crucial aspect of self-love during this time is the ability to forgive yourself. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-blame after a breakup. We think that if we had done something differently, maybe it would have worked out. But that's not the reality. Every relationship teaches us something. And sometimes the lesson is simply that not every connection is meant to last forever. And that's okay. Self-love means forgiving yourself for any mistakes you think you made and realizing that every experience is a stepping stone toward your personal growth. The journey of moving on begins with understanding that your happiness is yours to control. No one can take that from you unless you allow them to. A breakup can feel like a blow to your ego, your self-esteem, and your confidence. But it's during this time that you must dig deep and remind yourself of everything you've accomplished, everything you've overcome, and everything you've yet to achieve. When you start practicing self-love, you start shifting your mindset. You stop waiting for someone else to make you feel better. You stop seeking validation from external sources. You realize that the love you've been craving has been inside you all along. It's a love that has no conditions, no limitations, and no end. It's the love that you deserve no matter what. Self-love is also about setting boundaries and learning what you will and will not tolerate in your life. After a breakup, many of us have this urge to reconnect, to reach out, or to try and salvage what's left. But sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to let go completely. It's about respecting your own needs, your own emotions, and your own healing process. When you do this, you create space in your life for new opportunities, new experiences, and new people who will respect and appreciate you for who you truly are. The beauty of self-love is that it doesn't require anyone else's approval. It's something you give to yourself. And once you do, you will find that your inner strength is far greater than you ever imagined. And it's this strength that will help you move forward, not just surviving, but thriving after a breakup. So as you heal and grow, remember, the real power of moving on lies in your ability to love yourself first. When you can do that, you're not just moving on from a relationship, you're stepping into a new chapter of your life where you get to create the happiness you deserve. And when you do this, you'll find that not only do you recover, but you emerge stronger, wiser, and more at peace with yourself than ever before. When a relationship ends, there's often a ripple effect, not just in your own life, but in the life of the person you've shared that bond with. A breakup can be messy, complicated, and emotionally charged, but it's essential to realize that your actions during this period have a significant impact not only on your own healing, but on how the other person processes the loss as well. We often think of a breakup as something that only affects the one who's left behind, but in reality, both parties are affected by the breakup in different ways. It's easy to fall into the mindset of thinking about what you're going through, what you've lost, and how you're feeling. After all, this is your pain, your grief, and your heartbreak. But as you navigate through these emotions, you must also be aware of how your actions will affect the other person. All right? It's not about pleasing them or trying to control their emotions. It's about recognizing that your behavior, your words, and your decisions have consequences. And it's important to handle things in a way that aligns with your values, your integrity, and your self-respect. One of the most powerful things you can do during a breakup is to maintain composure and maturity. When emotions run high, it's easy to lash out, to say things that you might regret, or to try and manipulate the situation to get a certain reaction. But these actions, no matter how justified they might feel in the heat of the moment, can often cause more harm than good. Anger, resentment, and bitterness only fuel negative energy, making it harder for both you and your ex-partner to heal. Your words and actions can add layers of pain and confusion that extend the healing process for both of you. On the other hand, when you choose to be respectful, calm, and understanding, even when it's incredibly difficult, you allow space for the other person to process the breakup in their own way. They might not acknowledge it immediately, but deep down, they will feel the weight of your maturity. They'll notice that you are handling the situation with grace and dignity, and in doing so, you show them that you are emotionally capable of handling life's challenges. It's a subtle message, but a powerful one. You are not consumed by bitterness, anger, or resentment. Instead, you're demonstrating that you've risen above the situation, and that's a reflection of the strength of your character. This approach doesn't just benefit your ex-partner, it's also incredibly beneficial for you. When you rise above petty emotional responses and refuse to engage in drama or unnecessary conflict, you protect your own emotional well-being. You allow yourself to heal without the added stress of negative exchanges. You preserve your peace of mind, and you set the tone for your own emotional growth and future relationships. By recognizing the impact of your actions, you create an environment that fosters healing, understanding, and maturity for both of you. In doing so, you open the door to your own emotional strength, which is crucial in overcoming the pain of the breakup. When we experience a breakup, we often find ourselves submerged in a whirlwind of emotions: sadness, anger, guilt, confusion, and sometimes even relief. All of these feelings are valid, but what truly matters is how we choose to respond to them. This is where emotional strength comes into play. Emotional strength is the ability to process your emotions in a healthy, constructive way. And it is one of the most powerful tools you have during this difficult time. A breakup, no matter how painful, is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to understand your needs and desires, and to explore what it truly means to be emotionally strong. But emotional strength isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It's about acknowledging your pain, sitting with it, and then choosing to move forward in a way that serves your highest good. Emotional strength starts with self-awareness. The more in tune you are with your feelings, the more effectively you can navigate through them. Instead of denying your sadness or trying to push away your emotions, you allow yourself to feel them fully. You recognize that pain is a natural part of life and that it's okay to grieve. However, emotional strength also involves setting limits on how long you allow yourself to dwell in that sadness. It's about accepting that while it's okay to grieve, it's not okay to let grief consume you indefinitely. You have the power to rise above it, to take control of your emotional state, and to start taking the necessary steps toward healing. One of the key components of emotional strength is the ability to forgive, not just others, but also yourself. During a breakup, it's easy to fall into a cycle of self-blame. You might think that if you had done things differently, maybe the relationship would have worked out. You might replay the events over and over in your mind, thinking about what you could have changed or said differently. But emotional strength comes from the understanding that relationships are complex, and sometimes they simply don't work out. It's not a reflection of your worth, and it's not your fault. Learning to forgive yourself is a crucial part of emotional healing. It's about letting go of the guilt and the regret and making peace with the past so that you can move forward with strength and resilience. Emotional strength also involves developing the ability to be resilient in the face of adversity. A breakup is one of life's greatest challenges, and yet it also presents an opportunity to build resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from hardship, to keep going despite the pain, and to learn from your experiences. The emotional strength you develop during a breakup will serve you well in other areas of your life. It will make you more capable of handling future challenges with grace and confidence, because you will have learned the importance of emotional resilience, the ability to persevere and emerge stronger from difficult situations. When you are emotionally strong, you stop relying on others for validation. You stop seeking external sources of happiness, and instead, you start finding peace within yourself. You begin to recognize that happiness comes from within and that it's not dependent on anyone else. This emotional independence is one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself, because it means that you no longer need someone else to complete you. You are whole on your own. And that realization is the first step toward true emotional healing. Ultimately, emotional strength is about embracing growth, learning from your emotions, and using those lessons to become a stronger, more resilient person. It's about honoring your feelings while also acknowledging that you are capable of moving forward. When you approach a breakup with emotional strength, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're building a foundation for a healthier, more fulfilling future, and you're learning how to navigate life's challenges with grace and courage. Emotional strength is one of the most critical elements in navigating the storm of a breakup. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, pretending everything is fine when it's not, or rushing through the process of healing. True emotional strength lies in the ability to feel your emotions fully, to face your pain head on, and to use that emotional experience as a catalyst for growth. The strength comes not from avoiding the hurt, but from how you choose to rise above it. One of the most empowering aspects of emotional strength is the way it transforms your mindset. When you're emotionally strong, you understand that pain is a part of the human experience. It's inevitable and often necessary for growth. Now, since by accepting the reality of the situation and the emotions that accompany it, you begin to shift your focus from being a victim of your circumstances to being an active participant in your healing process. You recognize that while you can't control the end of the relationship, you do have control over how you respond to the pain. Another vital aspect of emotional strength is self-compassion. Many people, after a breakup, find themselves trapped in a cycle of self-criticism. They ask themselves questions like, what did I do wrong? Could I have done more? And am I not good enough? These questions can spiral into negative self-talk, which only prolongs the emotional distress. Emotional strength involves recognizing that mistakes are a natural part of life and that no one is perfect. It's important to give yourself permission to be imperfect and to understand that mistakes don't diminish your worth. You are allowed to grieve, to mourn, and to learn from the experience. When you are emotionally strong, you also embrace the idea that healing is a process, not an event. You might have days when you feel like you're making progress and other days when the pain feels overwhelming. That's okay. Emotional strength is about honoring the journey. even when it feels uneven. It's about knowing that healing isn't linear.